The most amazing project was the Defender project, because we were the #2 pinball company at the time, and we're going to get in the video game business. Yeah, right, Williams. And we got a bunch of people. They were put in a separate facility over on Belden Avenue, and this group, you know, everybody had one goal, and that was in a pretty short time frame to do whatever it took to make a really hot video game. And just the way things were accomplished by that group and the atmosphere among this group was just amazing. I've never seen it equaled. And you know, now I've got a management role, and I would love to take and bottle whatever the ingredients were to try and create a situation like that again. And it's the best situation I've ever seen or been in.
Management was not impressed.
Management came down. This was about 3 months before the show, before we had to finish this game, and management came down and goes, "Man, this game is a pilot. I mean, this game is so stupid. I mean, what are these people on here? I mean, where are you going?" You know, it was like, you know, they were saying, "Okay, you got to get rid of these stupid astronauts out of there, you know, and get some game going here, you know, because you are really blowing it."
Development hardware circa 1980.
It's pretty crazy because the night, this is insane actually. At the time, for our development system, we used this thing called a Motorola Exerciser, which was this huge, probably the most bloated, overpriced computer ever created. It was a dual floppy disk system. They used 8-inch floppy disks, which were like, you know, enormous, held like, you know, 10 bytes on them. And you had this $20,000 box that, I mean, would only work for like 3 or 4 days at a time before something failed. You know, it was horrendous. So it got to the point late in the project where it was taking like half an hour to just assemble the program, and so it was, and the odds of actually getting an assembly that actually made it were so low that the last week of the project, we just essentially just object code patches. We left the computer on. The program was in memory. Thank goodness there never was a power failure. And we just made patches in the code and just kind of stuffed them in there for the different bugs. And then it was like 4 a.m. and it was like, okay, we got to burn the ROMs for the show. And we like burned them. We like took everything was stuck in this computer memory, so we had to like pull out the bytes essentially, and then burn them into EPROMs. And we did it, and like it was at 6 a.m. Plugged them in, it didn't work. And I was like, oh, and I was like, what happened? You know, did we bend a pin? Did we, you know, of these, you know, 12 ROMs, you know, what was screwed up? And we burned them again or something, and they were like all blank or something. I don't know what it was, but finally we burned them again, and we got the damn thing working. And we like took these chips to the show. The cabinets were sitting on the show floor, like awaiting this program. You know, so we got to the show at like 7 a.m.
Sorry, a little bit of a hiccup there.
And you know, plugged in the chips, and the thing came on, and it was just like, we were just going, oh my God, it worked. You know, we were just, you know, couldn't believe it. It was like we were just so high from like not sleeping, and you know, it was just this ultimate high to like just this thing actually worked.
Sorry, I'm actually writing the game in the background.
The show was the the Amusement and Music Operators Association, the AMOA, which is the big coin-op, quarter-eating game show, and in the United States, and mostly attended by game room operators and arcade chain executives and various other industry hacks. And the thing is, the tragic thing is, none of these people actually play video games, you know, and we had Defender out there, and nobody would play it. I mean, they were afraid. They were so afraid of this game that I had to like spend my time trying to lure people into our booth to like play the game, and they'd want to watch me play the game, or you know, sometimes we'd have a couple of kids in there playing the game, but mostly the game was empty because everybody was so afraid of the game. I guess it was all the buttons. You know, we just had so many buttons on there that, you know, people just go, man, I just can't deal with this. So it's kind of like, well, we go, oh, okay, it's kind of cool, you know. Maybe we'll sell 1,000 games or something. You know, maybe some suckers will buy them. But you know, at the time, it seemed like it was a bomb. But I don't know. We were just so high from finishing the thing that it wasn't disappointing at all. In fact, I don't know. We kind of maybe were proud that it intimidated everyone. You know, it's like we're kind of proud that the game like freaked people out. You know? So it was kind of, you know, people kind of. I thought it was kind of a bomb. You know, the buzz on the show was like Pac-Man and Defender were like bombs. Pac-Man because it just played forever and it wasn't exciting, and Defender was like way too complicated to play. And people were thinking this game Rally X, which was a little car racing game, was like the big game in the show. We stuck it out in an arcade, and the first night I didn't even show up. You know, I mean, you stick this thing out. You've been working on this thing for months. You almost got fired. You know, I mean, there was a point where I cleaned out my desk. You know, in like the dark days when I was working on the astronauts, I'd actually cleaned out my desk and had put all my stuff in boxes. I mean, I was that close to like just quitting. And so I just didn't want to. You know, I didn't want to find out what people really wanted. Like, so I didn't show up first night. And second night, I go out to the arcade. And the place was just, there was like people 10 deep watching Defender. There was people sitting on chairs and couches and like camped out around this game. And at that point I figured, wow, maybe this is kind of cool.
So yeah, this is Defender, the game that started one of the biggest crazes of video games. I mean, we have Pong, we have Pac-Man, we have Space Invaders. Then there was Defender. Yeah. Oh, right. That's what that sound was, by the way. Defender! Oh, Defender! In a way, it kind of is intimidating because you have a button to propel yourself forward, you have a button to turn yourself around, you have a button to fire, you have a button to go into hyperspace, you have a button to use a smart bomb. I mean, you are essentially using 5 buttons. It's still too easy to get killed. I totally should have seen that one coming. I should have, but I didn't. That was actually the worst one of the lot. So yeah, that's Defender. And under normal circumstances, yeah, I suck at this. Eventually, they would port Defender and make it easy to maneuver the ship just by using the directional controls rather than having a separate button to turn around and a separate button to propel forward. But yeah, man, that's kind of whacked out.